I was 34 when I learned that coming home early can destroy your entire life in under 10 seconds. My shift got cut that Tuesday. Equipment failure sent everyone home 3 hours ahead of schedule, which meant I pulled into my driveway at 2 in the afternoon instead of 5. Her car sat in its usual spot. I grabbed my work bag from the passenger seat and headed around the side of the house instead of going through the front door. The pool filter had been making this grinding noise for weeks, and I figured I'd finally check it while I had daylight and energy. That's when I heard her laugh. Not just any laugh, the one she used to do when we first started dating. Light, unguarded, genuine. And underneath it, a man's voice responding with something I couldn't make out. My brain immediately started working through rational explanations. Repairman maybe, neighbor stopping by, her brother visiting unannounced. But my gut told me something different, something cold and final. I moved toward the wooden fence carefully, keeping my footsteps soft on the gravel path. The side gate was cracked open about 4 inches. She always forgot to latch it properly, and I'd stopped reminding her months ago because it never seemed to matter. Through that gap, I had a perfect sight line into our backyard. The hot tub was running, steam rising into the cool afternoon air. And there they were, my wife and Maddox Tate. Maddox, who'd been married to Melanie for 6 years. Maddox, who'd stood in my kitchen 2 weekends ago talking about integrity and loyalty while we watched a football game. Maddox, whose arm was currently draped around my wife's bare shoulders while she leaned into his chest like it was the most natural thing in the world. They were both in the water, both half naked, both completely unaware that their entire world was about to collapse. I stood there for maybe 10 seconds. No anger yet, just this strange, detached clarity. My hands weren't shaking, my breathing stayed even. I pulled my phone from my pocket and took 2 photos through the fence gap. The angle was perfect. You could see both their faces clearly, see how close they were sitting, see his hand resting on her waist under the water. No lawyer would need an explanation. No friend would have questions. I backed away from the fence and walked quietly to the gate latch. The metal clicked when I turned it, but the sound didn't carry over the bubbling jets and their conversation. I tested the lock once. Solid. The fence stood 6 feet high with no footholds, no easy way over. The only other exit ran through the house, and I'd be watching the front door the entire time. I walked back to my truck and sat in the driver's seat with the door closed. This wasn't rage. This was something colder, more permanent. This was the moment when you realize the person you've been living with doesn't actually exist, that you've been sharing space with a stranger who just wore a familiar face. I scrolled through my contacts and found Melanie's number. We'd only met a handful of times at group dinners and birthday parties. She seemed nice. She definitely didn't deserve this. The phone rang twice before she picked up. Hello? Melanie, it's me. I need you to come to my house right now. What? Is everything okay? Your husband is here, I said, keeping my voice level. He's in my backyard, in my hot tub with my wife. Silence stretched across the line, then a sharp intake of breath. You're lying. I wish I was. I have photos if you need proof, but I'd rather show you in person. Bring your brother if he's available. My brother? Her voice cracked slightly. Why would I? She stopped. Spencer, her younger brother, who fought MMA and had never liked Maddox in the first place. Oh, yeah. How far away are you? 15 minutes. Maybe 10 if I speed. The back gate is locked, I told her. They'd have to come through the house to leave. I'll be parked out front. I'm bringing Spencer. Good call. Bring your phone too. We're going to want video evidence. Way ahead of you. The line went dead. I sat in my truck watching the front door. My phone buzzed with a text from her. Where are you? Thought you'd be home by now. I didn't respond. Another buzz. Hello? You okay? Still nothing. Then she called. I declined it immediately. She called again. I declined again. I could picture her in the hot tub right now, getting nervous, probably glancing at Maddox and wondering if she should tell him to leave. Probably checking the time and calculating how long she had before I normally walked through the door. Too late for calculations. 2 cars pulled up within seconds of each other. Melanie jumped out of the first one, phone already in her hand, her face pale but composed. Spencer got out of the second. 6'3", 220 pounds of muscle, and barely contained fury. He walked straight toward me, and Melanie followed. Where? Her voice shook with something between rage and grief. Backyard through the side gate. I pulled out my phone. We document everything first. Video evidence. Clear footage of us just discovering the situation. No one can claim we staged anything or knew ahead of time. Understood? Melanie held up her phone with the camera app already open. Crystal clear. Spencer nodded once, his jaw tight. Follow me. Keep quiet until we're at the gate. We want them completely unaware. We moved as a unit down the side path. I reached for the gate latch and paused with my hand on it. Melanie and Spencer raised their phones. On 3, I whispered. 1, 2, 3. I pushed the gate open. The scene was worse than the photos suggested. Maddox had his hand on her thigh underwater, clearly visible through the clear water and afternoon sunlight. My wife was sitting across his lap facing him, their faces maybe 6 inches apart. Her expression soft and unguarded in a way I hadn't seen in over a year. They looked comfortable, familiar, like this wasn't the first time. We stood there recording for 3 full seconds before Maddox's peripheral vision caught movement. His eyes went wide. He jerked backward so hard he nearly slipped under the surface. My wife spun around, and the color drained from her face in real time when she saw me. Then Melanie. Then Spencer with his phone aimed directly at them like a weapon. Oh God. She scrambled off Maddox's lap, water sloshing over the sides of the tub. This isn't... We weren't. Keep recording, I said. My voice came out flat, almost bored. Make sure you get clear shots of both their faces. Already got it, Melanie said. Her hands were perfectly steady. Got everything. Maddox stood up in the hot tub, and I noticed he was wearing swim trunks. My wife wore a bikini I'd never seen before. Red, expensive looking. Definitely not something from our shared Amazon account. Listen, Maddox started. You're misunderstanding what... Shut up. I didn't raise my voice. I have photos from 20 minutes ago. Now video from 3 angles. Your hand on my wife's leg. Her sitting on your lap. Want to finish that sentence? He closed his mouth. My wife reached for her towel draped over the side of the tub. Can we please talk about this inside? Just us? No. I looked at Melanie. You got enough? More than enough. She lowered her phone. No tears, just cold, focused anger. 6 years, Maddox. 6 years I believed your lies about working late, about the gym, about helping friends move furniture. Mel, I swear this is the first time... Don't. Spencer's voice came out low and dangerous. Don't lie to my sister's face. Maddox looked at Spencer and took an involuntary step backward in the water. Smart move. I turned to my wife. 30 minutes to get your things and leave. Keys to the house, keys to the car I pay for. Everything on the kitchen counter. Where am I supposed to go? Not my problem anymore. I paused. The gate's been locked since I got here, by the way. You'll need to come through the house. Her face went white. You locked us in? I secured my property. Spencer set his phone down on the patio table. The recording was done. Maddox, get out of the hot tub. Look, man, I don't want any trouble. You're already in it. Get out. Maddox climbed out slowly and grabbed his towel. Spencer moved fast, one punch to the gut that doubled Maddox over, then another to the jaw that sent him crashing onto the concrete. That's for lying to my sister. And that's for being in another man's hot tub with his wife. Melanie walked over to where my wife still stood frozen in the water. Without a word, she slapped her hard across the face. That's for being a terrible friend. My wife's hand went to her cheek, her eyes wide with shock. 6 months ago, I told you I was worried Maddox was distant. You sat in my kitchen and told me I was paranoid. You said to trust him. Melanie's voice cracked. The whole time. Another slap. That one was just because I felt like it. I grabbed Spencer's shoulder before he could land another punch. That's enough. He got the message. Spencer looked down at Maddox, bleeding on the concrete, and nodded. Yeah, he did. Maddox struggled to his feet, one hand on his jaw. You assaulted me. I can press charges. Go ahead. I held up my phone showing the photos. I'll show the police these. Then mention you were trespassing on my property in my hot tub with my wife, while your wife thought you were at work. He said nothing. 30 minutes, I repeated. Then I'm calling the cops and reporting a break-in. We walked back through the gate. I heard my wife crying behind us, heard Maddox trying to say something to her in a low, urgent voice. I didn't care. At the front of the house, Melanie turned to me. Thank you for calling me. You deserve to know. Spencer grinned. Not a friendly grin, something with edges. Anytime someone needs a message delivered like that, call me. They got in their cars. Melanie paused with her door open. Send me those videos. My lawyer's gonna love them. Already on their way. As they drove off, I walked into my house and sat down in the living room. Through the window, I could see movement in the backyard. 2 people trying to salvage something already destroyed. I glanced at my watch and waited. 28 minutes left. 22 minutes later, the back door opened. Wet footsteps on the tile floor. She appeared in the doorway wearing a robe over her bikini, her hair dripping, mascara streaked down her face. I didn't look up from my phone. Can we please just talk? No. You're not even going to let me explain? Explain what? I looked at her now. That you weren't sitting on another man's lap in our hot tub? I have video. She moved closer. I held up one hand. Stop right there. I made a mistake, a terrible mistake. But we can work through this. Couples therapy, counseling. I want you gone in 8 minutes. You're being unreasonable. I stared at her. I came home early, found you half naked with a married man in my hot tub, his hands on you, you on his lap, and I'm unreasonable. It wasn't like that. We were just talking and things got out of hand. Things got out of hand. I let the words hang there. That's your defense. You put on a bikini I've never seen, invited him over while I was at work, and oops, things just happened? No response. How long? I asked. What? How long has this been going on? Today was the first. Stop lying. Melanie told you 6 months ago she was worried about Maddox. You convinced her she was paranoid. You don't do that unless you're protecting him. So how long? Her lip trembled. 4 months. 4 months of lies. 4 months of coming home to someone who smiled at my face while planning to meet him. 4 months of me being the fool who never suspected. Get your stuff. 6 minutes. Where am I supposed to go? Call Maddox. I'm sure he'll figure something out. Or maybe not, considering Spencer rearranged his face. She started crying harder. I don't have anywhere to go. Your friends know what you did by now. Melanie's probably sent that video to everyone. You made your bed. Lie in it alone. You're cruel. This is why I... Finish that sentence, I said quietly. Tell me this is my fault. Tell me I drove you to cheat. Give me one more reason to make this divorce ugly. She closed her mouth. I pointed upstairs. 4 minutes. She ran. I heard drawers opening, things being thrown into bags. My phone buzzed with a text from Melanie. Maddox showed up at my place. Tried to get his stuff. Spencer wouldn't let him in. Police called. He's being charged with trespassing. I typed back. Thanks. How are you holding up? Better than he is. Footsteps on the stairs. She came down with a garbage bag full of clothes and a purse slung over her shoulder. Keys, I said, holding out my hand. She dug in her purse, pulled out the house keys and car keys, dropped them in my palm. Can I at least take some of the furniture? The dishes? I paid for some of those with money from the joint account. No. That's not fair. I paid for some of those. You paid with money from the joint account I deposited into. My money, my house, my stuff. You want fair? Fair would be me sending that video to your employer. Fair would be posting it online. Her eyes went wide. You wouldn't. Try me. Push 1 more inch and find out. She headed for the door, the bag dragging behind her. Wait. She turned, and I saw hope flicker across her face for just a second. Your wedding ring. Leave it on the counter. The hope died. She twisted the ring off with shaking hands and set it down next to the keys with a tiny click of metal on granite. Goodbye. She stood there waiting for something. Forgiveness. A crack in the armor. Some sign I still cared. I gave her nothing. She walked out. The door closed. I heard her car start outside, heard the engine fade as she drove away. Not my problem anymore. I picked up the wedding ring. It felt light, meaningless. I dropped it in the kitchen drawer with spare batteries and old rubber bands, things that might be useful someday, but probably wouldn't be. My phone rang. Unknown number. Is this Maddox Tate's residence? Professional voice. Definitely not a friend. No, this is his wife's boyfriend's house. Well, ex-wife's house now. You want Maddox? Try the county jail. He's being processed for trespassing. Oh, I'm sorry, If you're calling about work, he won't be in for a while. Personal issues. The kind involving lawyers and angry brothers-in-law. I hung up. Silence filled the house. Complete silence. No TV murmuring in the background. No music playing from her phone. No sounds of someone else occupying my space. Just me. And for the first time in 4 months, probably longer, that felt exactly right. The next morning, I woke up at 6 without an alarm. Years of early shifts had wired my body that way. The house felt different. Not tense anymore, not loaded with something waiting to explode. Just clean, permanent. Like the silence after a storm passes and you can finally see what needs rebuilding. I made coffee, just 1 cup, and sat at the kitchen table scrolling through my phone. 12 missed calls from her number, 37 text messages. I didn't read a single one. Just blocked the number and deleted the entire thread. Whatever she had to say, she could say it through lawyers. First order of business: find a lawyer. I called an old friend from high school, Garrett, who'd gone into law. Not family law specifically, but he'd know someone good. "You need a divorce lawyer," he said after I explained the situation. "Man, I'm sorry, but yeah, I know exactly who you need. Curtis Goodwin. Handles divorces exclusively. Guy's a machine. Professional, efficient. Doesn't mess around with emotional appeals. Just facts and results." 10 minutes later, I was on the phone with Curtis's office booking an appointment for that afternoon. His secretary said he'd had a cancellation and could fit me in at 2. I took it. I spent the morning organizing documents: bank statements, lease agreement, title to my truck, receipts for major purchases, everything that proved what was mine versus what was ours. Turned out most things were mine. The furniture I'd bought before we got married. The TV I'd saved up for 3 months to afford. The dishes were hers, but I didn't care about dishes. At 1:30, I drove downtown to Curtis's office. Small building, 3rd floor, professional but not flashy. The waiting room had leather chairs and outdated magazines. I didn't have to wait long. Curtis Goodwin was maybe 50, graying at the temples, sharp eyes behind wireframe glasses. He shook my hand with a firm grip and gestured to a chair across from his desk. "So, tell me what happened." I did. The whole story. Coming home early, finding them in the hot tub, locking the gate, calling Melanie, the confrontation, the videos, kicking her out. I showed him the photos and videos on my phone. When the video played showing my wife sitting on Maddox's lap in the hot tub, Curtis actually smiled. Not a happy smile, a lawyer's smile. The kind that says this case just became very easy. "This is the cleanest evidence I've seen in months," he said, leaning back in his chair. "She has absolutely no leverage. None whatsoever. No sympathetic angle, no gray area. This is about as black and white as it gets." "How long will it take?" "Depends entirely on whether she contests. With evidence like this, if she's smart and doesn't fight it, 6 to 8 weeks. We file for irreconcilable differences, cite the infidelity with proof, she signs. Done." "And if she does fight it?" Curtis's smile got sharper. "Then we make it expensive. Painful, public. I drag it into court, put that video on the record, depose everyone involved. Her best friend, whose marriage she destroyed. The brother who beat her affair partner, your neighbors who probably heard everything. We make it so thoroughly humiliating that she wishes she'd just signed." "I like your style. I've been doing this for 23 years. I've seen every trick, every excuse, every desperate attempt to salvage something from a burning building. Your wife doesn't have a leg to stand on. My recommendation? We send a clear message through her lawyer. Sign the papers, accept the terms. Walk away quietly and this stays between us. Fight back and that video becomes public record. Anyone can access it. Her employer, her family, everyone. Do it." We spent the next hour going through everything. Assets, debts, property. The house was in my name. I'd been renting for 3 years before we got married, and the landlord had never added her to the lease. Most of the furniture I'd bought before the marriage. My truck was paid off and titled to me. Her car was in her name, though I'd been making half the payments as a courtesy. The joint bank account had about $8,000 in it. "I want to split that evenly," I said. $4,000 each. I don't want her claiming financial abuse or that I left her with nothing." Curtis raised an eyebrow. "You're being more generous than you need to be. With this evidence, You could argue she forfeits her share. I'm being strategic. I want this clean. No loose ends she can grab onto later. $4,000 is a small price to pay for a drama-free divorce. Fair enough. Smart thinking, actually. Can't accuse you of being vindictive if you're splitting shared assets down the middle. He made notes. What about personal items? Clothes, jewelry, things like that. She took what she wanted when she left. I've got the rest boxed up in the garage. She can have it picked up once the papers are signed. I don't want her back in the house. Understood. I'll include a provision for property retrieval with a third party present. Standard stuff. Curtis looked up from his notepad. Anything else? Pets? Shared debts? Credit cards? No pets. She has a credit card in her name I'm not on. I've got one in my name she's not on. No shared debt besides the joint account. This really is straightforward. He set down his pen. I'll draft the papers today. Have them ready for filing by tomorrow. I'll contact her lawyer. Does she have one yet? No idea. Probably not. Then she'll need to get one quick, because I'm giving her 72 hours to respond to the initial filing. After that, we proceed whether she's ready or not. I left Curtis's office feeling lighter than I had in days. One major step down. Everything was in motion now. No going back. Not that I wanted to go back, but there was something final about involving lawyers that made it official. My phone rang as I was getting in my truck. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Yeah? Hi, is this... A woman's voice, hesitant. Is this Melanie's friend from yesterday? This is June, Melanie's mom. She gave me your number. I hope that's okay. I wanted to thank you for what you did, for calling her, for not just handling it differently. She deserved to know what was happening. She did, and she does. No, I mean about everything now. June's voice got harder. Maddox called me last night from jail. Had the nerve to ask me to post bail. Said it was all a misunderstanding. That Spencer attacked him unprovoked. What did you tell him? I told him he could rot in that cell for all I cared. That he destroyed my daughter's marriage and betrayed her trust. Then I hung up on him. He's called 4 more times. I blocked his number. Despite everything, I almost laughed. Good. He doesn't deserve your help. No, he doesn't. Melanie's doing better than I expected, honestly. She's angry, which is healthy. Better than sad. Spencer's staying with her for a few days, making sure Maddox doesn't try anything stupid when he eventually gets out. Smart move. How long do you think they'll hold him? Trespassing charge? Probably just overnight. Maybe 48 hours. But it's enough to scare him. And Melanie's already filing for a restraining order. Between that and the assault charge Spencer could technically press, Maddox isn't going to risk coming near her. Good. June paused. Tell Melanie if she needs anything. Character witness, testimony, whatever. I'm available. I will. And I'm sorry about your wife. Ex-wife. Whatever she is now, Melanie told me you two were married. That must make this even harder. Honestly, it doesn't. I think I checked out emotionally the second I saw them in that hot tub. Everything since then has just been logistics. June made a sympathetic sound. That's probably your brain protecting you. The anger will come later, or the sadness, or both. Just be ready for it. I'll keep that in mind. Thanks for calling, June. Anytime. And seriously, if you need anything, reach out. You did right by my daughter. That matters. After we hung up, I sat in my truck for a minute staring at the downtown buildings. My phone buzzed. Text from a number I didn't recognize. Hey, it's Tracy. Melanie's friend from the gym. Just heard what happened. Wanted you to know everyone's on your side. What she did was disgusting. If you need anything, let me know. Then another text, different number. This is Brooke. Heard about everything through Melanie. That video is making rounds in our friend group. Just wanted to say you handled it way better than most guys would have. Respect. So the video was out there. Melanie had sent it around. Good. Let everyone know exactly what kind of person my ex was. Let her face the social consequences of her actions. Another text. This one from Spencer. Maddox got out this morning. Tried to come to Melanie's place. I was there. He saw me on the porch and kept driving. Coward. I texted back. Keep me posted if he tries anything. Will do. How you holding up? Better than expected. Got a lawyer. Papers being filed tomorrow. Fast. I like it. No point dragging it out. Exactly. Over the next few days, I settled into a new routine. Work, home, gym, sleep. Simple, clean, no drama, no lies. No checking my phone wondering where she was or who she was with. I changed the Netflix password. Changed the Wi-Fi password. Changed the locks on the house. Landlord approved it since she wasn't on the lease. Every evening when I came home, it felt more like my space. Not our space. Mine. Wednesday afternoon, I was at work when Curtis called. Her lawyer reached out. She got a lawyer? That was fast. Some guy named Raymond Moon. Works out of a strip mall office. Not exactly top tier, but he knows enough to be dangerous if we let him. What did he want? She wants to negotiate. I actually laughed. Negotiate what? She's got nothing to negotiate with. That's essentially what I told him. But apparently she thinks she deserves half of everything because you were married and she contributed to the household. She contributed to the household by sleeping with another man in our hot tub. I pointed out something similar, less colorfully. Her lawyer knows he has no case. He basically apologized for having to make the call. Said his client is insisting. What did you tell him? That the offer stands as written. She gets her personal property, $4,000 from the joint account, and the car that's in her name. That's it. No furniture, no household items. Nothing from the house. She signs by Friday at 5 p.m. or we file publicly on Monday morning. And if she doesn't sign, then Monday morning, I walk into the courthouse with that video on a flash drive and file it as evidence. It becomes public record. Anyone can request it. Her employer, her family, random strangers on the internet who like divorce drama. I made sure her lawyer understood that. Good. Let her think about that over the next 48 hours. Thursday dragged. I kept expecting a call from Curtis saying she'd signed, but nothing came. Thursday night, I went to the gym and worked out until my arms shook. Came home, showered, ate a frozen pizza, watched a movie I'd been wanting to see for months, but she'd always said looked boring. It was boring. But I watched the whole thing anyway, just because I could. Friday morning, I woke up to 3 missed calls from an unknown number and a voicemail. I played it on speaker while making coffee. Hi, this is Raymond Moon representing your wife in the divorce proceedings. She'd like to meet with you in person to discuss the terms. She feels that a face-to-face conversation might be more productive than communicating through lawyers. If you could call me back at this number. I deleted the voicemail and called Curtis. Did her lawyer just try to get me to meet with her in person? Did he? That's inappropriate. You're both represented. All communication should go through us. That's what I thought. What do I do? Nothing. Don't respond. I'll call Moon and remind him of the rules. If your ex wants to talk, she can do it in writing through her attorney. Thanks. At work, I couldn't focus. Kept checking my phone. Finally, at 2:30, Curtis called. She signed. Just 2 words. But they carried the weight of 2 years of marriage dissolving into nothing. Just like that? Just like that. I got the signed documents 10 minutes ago. Papers are filed. You're officially separated as of this moment. Divorce will be final in 60 days, barring any complications, which there won't be, because this is about as clean as it gets. I sat down in the break room. Huh. You okay? Yeah, I think I am. I thought I'd feel, I don't know, something. But I just feel relieved. That's normal. You've been in crisis mode since this happened. Now that the major decision is made and the process is started, your brain can finally relax a little. Curtis paused. For what it's worth, you did everything right. You documented. You acted fast. You didn't do anything stupid or illegal. Some guys in your situation would have burned the house down or destroyed her stuff. You kept your head. That's impressive. I wanted it done, not drawn out. And it will be. 60 days and you're a free man. Congratulations. After we hung up, I sat in the break room for another 10 minutes staring at my phone. Should I feel sad, angry, something other than this weird sense of relief? My phone buzzed. Text from Melanie. Spencer told me your papers got filed today. How are you doing? Surprisingly okay. How about you? Same. Filed mine yesterday. Maddox tried to contest, but his lawyer told him he was wasting his money. Signed this morning. So we're both officially getting divorced. We are. Spencer suggested we have a celebration thing next weekend. Nothing crazy, just some friends, some drinks, acknowledging that we both dodged bullets. You in? Yeah, I'm in. Good. Saturday night, my place. Bring beer if you want, but mainly just bring yourself. I went back to work, finished my shift, drove home as the sun was setting. The house was exactly as I'd left it. No surprises, no drama, no one waiting to ambush me with tears or apologies. Just quiet, just peace, just mine. I ordered Chinese food, ate it straight from the containers, watched whatever I wanted on TV, and went to bed at 9 because I could. 60 days until it was official. I could wait. 3 weeks later, I got a call from an unknown number. Please don't hang up, her voice. I'm outside your house with a therapist, Dr. Baxter. She specializes in marriage reconciliation. Just give us 10 minutes. I looked out the window. Her car was parked across the street. A professional-looking woman sat in the passenger seat. You brought a therapist to my house, uninvited. I'm trying to save our marriage. The 60 days aren't up yet. We can still stop this. Part of me wanted to see how far she'd go. Part of me wanted this therapist to hear the actual story. 5 minutes, outside on the sidewalk. I walked out and locked the door behind me. They approached. My ex looked rough. Thinner, dark circles under her eyes, hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. Dr. Baxter extended her hand. I didn't take it. I understand you're going through a difficult time, she began. I'm going through a divorce. My wife destroyed our marriage by sleeping with her best friend's husband for 4 months. Dr. Baxter blinked. She told me this was a one-time incident, a momentary lapse in judgment. Did she mention I found her sitting on his lap in our hot tub? That they'd been having an affair for months? That she helped hide it from his wife, her supposed best friend? That his wife showed up with her MMA fighter brother who beat him unconscious? The therapist's professional smile vanished. She looked at my ex. You told me you kissed someone at a party. I simplified for the consultation, my ex said weakly. You lied, I corrected. Same thing you've been doing for 4 months. Dr. Baxter closed her clipboard. I don't appreciate being misled. I help couples overcome mistakes, not patterns of deception. She looked at me. I apologize. You were brought here under false pretenses. This is over, I said. My ex grabbed my arm. I pulled away. Don't touch me. You loved me once. That has to mean something. It did. Past tense. You killed it when you chose Maddox over our marriage. I made a mistake. Stop calling it that. This was 4 months of choices. 4 months of lying to my face every single day. 4 months of secret texts and meetings and planning. That's not a mistake. That's deliberate. Dr. Baxter put a hand on my ex's shoulder. We should go. What if I refuse to finalize the divorce? My ex's voice came out desperate. Then that video becomes public record. Your employer sees it. Your parents see it. Everyone sees it. Right now, only Melanie's close circle knows. Keep it that way by signing the papers, or make it everyone's business. Your choice. She went pale. Dr. Baxter guided her back to the car, then returned for a moment. For what it's worth, you're making the right call. She hasn't accepted what she did. She's still minimizing. That doesn't change with therapy. Thanks for being honest. They drove away. My neighbor Jeffrey walked over from his porch. That took guts, he said. Or stupidity. Guts. My first wife tried the same thing 30 years ago. Therapist ambush, tears, promises. I took her back. She cheated again 2 years later. He paused. Second wife I met 5 years after that. Been married 32 years. Best decision was walking away from someone who didn't respect me. How long until it felt normal? 6 months before I stopped thinking about her daily. A year before the anger faded. 2 years before I could trust again. But it happened. He smiled slightly. Clean break helps. No contact. Let her become a stranger. I can do that. I know you can. If you need anything, beer, conversation, my door's open. Thanks, Jeffrey. I went inside, ordered pizza, watched what I wanted, went to bed early. My phone buzzed. Text from Spencer. Melanie's having people over tomorrow night, celebrating both divorces being finalized. You in? Both finalized? Maddox signed yesterday. Tried to fight for everything. Judge destroyed him. So yeah, we're celebrating. 7 p.m. bring good beer. I'll be there. 37 days left until official. But honestly, who was counting? Saturday evening, I showed up at Melanie's with good beer and better whiskey. Spencer answered the door with a grin. You made it. Inside, maybe 10 people. Melanie, June. Familiar faces from that night. Everyone relaxed, genuinely happy. No forced smiles or careful conversations. Just people who'd survived something and come out the other side. Melanie hugged me. Thank you for everything. You've thanked me enough? She handed me a beer. To freedom. To freedom. Spencer poured shots. To my sister who ditched a coward, and to our friend who handled this like a champion. Cheers. The whiskey burned in the best way. Music got louder. Conversations flowed. A woman I didn't recognize approached. I'm Camila, friend of Melanie's. That was really smart thinking with the gate and the evidence. Just instinct. Good instinct. Later on the porch with Melanie and Spencer. Maddox called yesterday, Melanie said. I hung up. Spencer laughed. He lost half his gym clients. Turns out married women don't want a cheater as their personal trainer. Your ex doing okay? Melanie asked carefully. She's on thin ice at work. Her boss saw the video through someone's friend. Not my problem anymore. You seem good. I am. Mostly just relieved. Around 11, I helped clean up. Melanie walked me out. You saved me years of wasted time. Same to you. I drove home. The house was dark, empty, peaceful. Text from Jeffrey. Beer offer still stands. Tomorrow if you want. Maybe. Thanks. I went inside, poured a drink, sat in complete silence. No drama, no lies, no wondering where she was or what she was hiding. Just me, my space, my life. The divorce would be final in 2 weeks, but honestly, it felt done the moment I saw them in that hot tub. Everything since then had just been paperwork. I raised my glass to the empty room, to new beginnings, to respecting yourself enough to walk away, to knowing when something's broken beyond repair and having the strength not to keep trying to fix it. The silence didn't answer back, and that was exactly how I wanted it. Our story has come to an end. If you've made it this far, how about subscribing to our channel? It helps us immensely. I've selected 2 other videos for you that I'm sure you'll enjoy. Feel free to click on them. I'll be waiting for you in the next story. See you soon.